Welcome to another day of Ether Raids. We're taking on a Japanese player here once more, pointing at Embla. I guess that's what that means with the arrows. But in any case, we're going to go with Jim Bro yet again. This is probably like my only team that feels like it's set up to work for this season. I have, like, aside from the other team with Goldmary, the problem, or rather the reason that I'm not really using that team is because I don't have an Ike counter on that team. Even though Goldmary is a blue unit, Ike will kill her. So there's that. So yeah, this is really the team that I have set up to counter Ike as well as to get the bonus kill with Legendary Crom, even though I kind of failed to do that yesterday, unfortunately, or in the video that you saw before this one. But it's cool. It's chaos season. You know, it is what it is. Plan here, bait out Celica, and then since they're boxed in and no one else is able to warp out, take out everybody else as they shuffle around, because there is some space for Embla at least to come down. So I think she'll make her way forward, and then that'll be that. Pretty much.
I understand.
Amelia is going to be taking care of this one. I'm not going to lie, I am kind of digging this Amelia. And the primary reason is that when paired with Freyr, it allows her to actually get the status effects that she needs to trigger the distant counter. And I actually was noticing recently that there are a lot more start of phase status effects than there were before. Like if this unit came, or if this Amelia came out like a couple of months ago, she would probably have been dead in the water because she wouldn't have been able to successfully trigger her save on turn 1, which would have left her wide open for Gale Force strategies from range. Granted, you probably wouldn't have been able to double her, but she would not have been able to counterattack. But that's no longer the case when you're looking at Goat Girl. Still haven't got a name for her. And also, well, Freyr is more of a start of phase, start of turn. Freyr's Resonant Shield is start of turn, but he cleanses debuffs. Well, I guess it's probably only Goat Girl, but she gives it. She can give it to her status effect to multiple units on your team. So she only needs, Amelia I think only needs 3, if I'm not mistaken, to get the distant counter effect. So it makes her a lot more viable for defense as a save unit, whereas before she absolutely was not. I would not have recommended her for defense unless you were gonna box your units in as everyone has been doing since Emblem Celica. It's like you get boxed in at the bottom of the map and the opponent is boxing themselves in at the top of the map. So it's like, who can get out of the box first and kill everyone? It's kind of like what I've been finding that defense has devolved into, which is kind of, I don't like it, because it limits melee Gale Force almost entirely, because you pretty much have to go on turn 1 or be able to warp in and target someone who isn't like above a trap, or there has to be somewhere that you can initiate on. And with the box setups now that are becoming more meta because of the Celica ring and Emblem Celica herself, it's a lot more difficult to initiate and do melee Gale Force strategies with let's say Winter Edelgard. Not a fan. Although that being said, it was, you know, almost the back end of Winter Edelgard that we were seeing, so she didn't really have a long lifespan left in terms of usage, I feel, because the units are just getting so much more difficult to take out, especially with Goat Girl on defense. So I don't know, I guess it probably doesn't matter, but it also means that I can't use my Nerthus team, which I tried to put together for this season, or I haven't been able to use it yet because everyone's boxed in, and you need that first turn free, either through safe defense or just not getting hit from Celica on turn 1, or anyone else that can warp on turn 1. So I just haven't been able to. Everyone's so aggressive on the first turn that you just don't get the time to set up and go in and snipe a unit and then back out. So it's kind of annoying. It limits the playstyles that you can use. To pretty much ranged Gale Force is still the most consistent thing, I feel. Ranged Gale Force, ranged hit and run. Anything ranged is just really, really strong right now in terms of being able to initiate. You might not kill, or you might not take out the unit that you're looking to take out, but once you can get the defense moving, it makes it a lot more viable for you to potentially win the map.
The future has changed.
Either that or you just tank it. As you can see there, Amelia is a really decent counter to Emblem Silica in terms of the speed check. This Amelia is like, I don't know, man. She's speed racer. She's so fast. So I don't know. I don't think she'll. That's the thing. I don't think she'll get speed cred for a while because of how much, like, A skill, B skill, C skill, everything is dedicated to speed on this unit. So I don't think she'll get speed cred for a while unless they go like really crazy with the Bravery Vines. I think this Ascended Amelia is going to be good for at least the rest of the year. In terms of speed, she still gets dunked on by
all right, upon your word.
Armor effective damage. What's her name? Micaiah? Yeah, Micaiah absolutely destroys her, as well as Nurgle if he has enough buffs. But speed-wise, she'll probably win most of those matchups. So she's a pretty decent frontliner, I feel.
Your plan.
I feel like Myr has once again cemented her spot at the top as the best far save in the game with this new Anima Defense Mystic. I definitely, she pairs so well. Myr and
you have my all.
I can't go, girl. I can't say her. I literally just tried to say it in my head, and I was like, nah, it's not gonna happen. But that pairing is really, really strong. Yeah, definitely recommend to run Myr on defense for Anima Season at least. And then looking at Summoner Duels, which I haven't really gotten a chance to go in and see what's going on there yet, but as I said, giving Jimbro here the Silica Ring, which I have done, is really going to be the best play because it allows him to warp in and take out pretty much anyone, barring dragons. Because of the Scowl effect. Dragons are pretty much the only unit type that he fails to kill, unless the opponent, let's say, has... Well, I haven't tested him against anyone with Flow Guard 4. I don't think... Because I think Flow Guard 4 is on initiation, so I don't think it works in enemy phase, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. I don't know. But, yeah, dragons are pretty much his only weakness, which is interesting. Because he can't get his special off. Once he's hitting that special, you're guaranteed dead. Like, I haven't seen any unit survive his special so far, except when he's fighting himself. Yeah. Otherwise, once he hits that special, that Fierce Breath, Fierce Beast,
you have my all.
Yeah, you're dead. Getting the pots here. Not much going on. We're in the lull period here for Faye, right after the Mythic banner and before the next banner for the, is it going to be new heroes or special heroes? I'm not sure, but there's a little bit of a lull, and that's what's going on right now. Gonna dip my toes into Voting Gauntlet, and maybe I'll put out some extra content on this one. I'm feeling a little bit generous today. Might slap something else on top of this one just for entertainment. Alright, here's the bonus content that I talked about earlier. Although I'm pretty sure most of this is just going to be me talking, so I don't really know if it's like that much of a plus, but yeah, this is what I was talking about when I was saying that everyone's boxed in and you're also boxed out. So everyone's like in a little box ever since the Emblem Silica banner reveal, or a little bit after that. Even on this map, I mean, this one's a little bit more open, but you don't want to be initiating on Jimbro there, since he's so hard to kill. Oh, man, I miss these maps so much. Because look at all the space that you could initiate from, but it's blocked off here. But I mean, those used to be the good times when I could melee Gale Force without any problems, or at least have a way in and out. But nowadays, there's literally no space here. Like, I mean, even if I go through all of this and break the structures and step on the traps, it's going to take at least 3 to 4 turns just to get going. And he can warp out, as you can see there. I guess this is a good spot, but then I forgot about Gatekeeper. So yeah, you can't really warp in and melee Gale Force there. And then this one, this looks like there's a way in, but unless you break that healing tower, you're also still boxed out, because this is like a tank fest. So much bulk to get through. Defenses are becoming like so much bulkier. I don't know if it, like, maybe my sample size isn't the because these are like really like consistent players, like consistently in the vault, and they keep up their defenses, which with the introduction of new units, which is nice. I haven't seen this one in a while. This meta seems to have gotten left by the wayside, but again, boxed in a little bit there. Oh, Lagoo's Friend 4 on Chrom. Didn't think of that. I wonder how well that does. But anyways, yeah, everything's like so boxed in, man. And aside from the cav lines, of course, there really isn't that much variety that you're seeing. Understandable, because, you know, people are just going to do what wins. That's really the goal of the events, to stop your opponent from, you know, wiping out your entire team on the first turn or in one turn, or pretty much just to get the win. That's really the goal. But yeah, not a lot of variety here in terms of like the good old days with good old Hector here. Special Spiral, interesting build. But yeah, good old days. He gets boxed by Jimbro, like he just gets obliterated. But it's nice to see Hector still putting in some work there. Not a lot of variety, man. Not a lot of variety. This is probably the well, this is what I want to talk about. This map is the only other map that has a right alignment, where you can build your defense on the right, because that's where the structure is. There aren't a lot of map layouts that allow you to do that. But I don't like that map because of the defense styles. Yeah, not a fan. It means that you have to hit so much harder, or like do a drag back or something to get the opponent off the defense style. What is this supposed to be? I don't get the goal here, but Ike does have the Ike ring. And the units are boxed in, but let's see how that one plays. Yeah, we're just gonna pick one of my teams here and go in on this and see what happens. Goldberry. Goldberry has a bad time against Ike, but this isn't like the strongest Ike, so maybe I'll be fine. In particular, like if Ike has Fatal Smoke, he will like destroy Goldberry. It's what I've noticed is that like I'm just going like over her weapon again. She doesn't have any damage reduction in her weapon, from what I can see. So she's entirely dependent on her defensive bulk and her stats, and Lagoo's Friend 4 plus godlike reflexes for the DR that she has, which is all true damage reduction, so it's understandable. But you really want stackable damage reduction, or combination of damage reduction. So I really would have preferred if she had like something speed base, or just like regular damage reduction, like flat DR, not flat DR, but just like reduce 30%, 20%, something like that, somewhere on her. I was contemplating giving her Speed Smoke, but I don't know how well that would perform on her, since she's really geared towards having her defense and attack as her main stats. The speed is not necessarily the biggest concern for her because there is a lot of leeway with Godlike Reflexes that you get to be outsped by a little bit, but she's kind of like currently I think the fastest infantry tank in the game, so she probably doesn't have to worry about getting outsped too much. But yeah, that aside, I tried her with Ignis, which is really fun actually. Ignis on this Goldberry is actually really fun. The problem is guard. She doesn't have null tempo or anywhere to put Blight. Well, I'm wrong. Because she doesn't have null guard or tempo, what you would have to do is give her the C skill from Prid, which would give her tempo, but it's a defense check. But I'm confident that she could make that defense check, especially in matchups against other God Swords. It would typically work out in her favor. Oh, wow. Yeah, this is a pretty weak Ike. Typically, I'm not able to get the kill on Ike like this, especially with Veil. Like, typically I need 2 combats. Like, I would have needed to use a dance to get the kill on an Ike in that situation, but not the strongest Ike there. Yeah, I guess this was as simple as I thought it was. Nothing really tricky here. Underwhelming.
Where to today?
But anyways, yeah, Ignis on Goldberry was a ton of fun. I was gonna try to, well, actually, I did try her with Aether, but again, because of the guard, it became just a little bit too inconsistent in comparison to the Aether, especially against the Emblem Micaiah matchup. Not Attune Micaiah matchup. Goldberry really needs to get that Godlike Reflexes off to take out Micaiah. She is able to survive against Micaiah if you have the right pairings. She pairs really, really well with Freyr. Freyr is like Attune Micaiah is a great support and all, but if you want to get the best out of this Goldberry, pair her with Freyr, and she just performs so much better. Yeah, I think she'll probably end up on defense in some capacity for me because she does so much. When she also has a Closet weapon where the more enemies, kind of like with Winter Edelgard and Summer Edelgard, kind of like how a charge works, the charge on both of those units work. The more enemies that are within 3x3, they either get the effect or don't, blah blah blah. Goldberry kind of has an effect like that in her weapon, so it gives her more stats. And yeah, I think that would really pair well for her on defense because offensive teams are able to bring 6 units or so, I think. And typically they're going to be clumped together. So yeah, I really think, especially if you were to give her the C skill from Prid, I think that would really work out in her favor. She doesn't necessarily need the no follow-up because she's so fast, but I mean, there is follow-up denial and stuff like that. I'm just like thinking about ways to make her more versatile, and the Ignis build that I was thinking about was pretty fun to use, or that I tried out was pretty fun because you did get to see her special quotes, and I really enjoyed that. But again, the guard. I don't know if like you could probably drop her A skill for Flash Sparrow or something to get more consistency, or drop her C skill for, as I said, the hit, the defense wave, odd defense wave from Prid, or let's say attack speed. What's that one that's on Legendary Male Robin, Male Alir? I forget what it's called. And it gives you the special charges status effect as well as the attack and speed up 6. I forget what it's called, but that could be fun as well. Pledge, attack speed pledge. That could be fun on her as well if you wanted to give that a try, just to make sure that she gets the specials off, because she needs the specials to kill things, pretty much. So yeah, she's interesting. I still haven't like figured out her full potential just yet. But I'm gonna keep. What is this? Dropped out her B skill for desperation. Yeah, I still haven't figured out her full potential yet. So I'm gonna keep working with her just to see what I can do. I like the unit. I feel like that's what I'm kind of leaning more towards enjoying using Goldberry, and I feel like she'll probably stick around. Yeah, so I'm gonna show you guys her matchup against Jimbro here. The biggest problem is that if she loses the defense check, because he has so much defensive bulk, typically she doesn't get a lot of her status effects or weapon effects, skills, whatever. And then also, remember I said that when you pair Jimbro with his sister, he is so much stronger. And because the opponents don't get to heal after he punches you in the face. Now the biggest support here is going to be Veil, removing his special. But if I'm not sure how she would perform if I were to remove Veil. Bernie's so cute in the back there. She's like literally giving off nervous energy. Nervous. Like, don't die. That was pretty okay. Ooh, okay, there you go. She's really a solid enemy phase unit. Can I get this down? I do, but not a kill.
Let's show off. Let's not.
And I didn't realize that this skill, this
look at me.
duo or harmonic button, only worked for engage and heroes and 3 houses. My apologies. Just take someone out here, because I think that's the first combat thing in there. I feel like Goldberry is very similar to Summer Fjorm in that sense, or in the sense that her special is so consistent with well, basically she's just a really good user of godlike reflexes, whereas Summer Fjorm was such a good user of Frostbite Mirror, which was a range special that we got last year, but this year we got a melee specialized unit, which is kind of showing the swing, or rather how the game has swung or changed in that time frame. I feel like melee Guild Force at the very least has taken a big hit because of that. All the frontliners are so much more bulky than they were previously.
Look at me.
Yeah, just looking at units like
Greetings.
Goldberry right here, and I don't think, and like I was just going through like the list, like my nukes, and I couldn't find one that was like really good aside from Summer Golvig. I couldn't find a really good red nuke. I wouldn't classify Summer Golvig as that. She's good, but I wouldn't call her an initiator. In the same vein how Summer, dude, was it Blue Range Cav? I'm trying to remember her name. Was it? Man.
Will do.
Oh man. The Summer Cav that came out last year that killed all the God Swords. I forget her name. There isn't a red unit like that is like currently in the game. That's just like really good. To kind of like counteract a lot of the meta that we're facing right now, because there's a lot more green. Green is really like out of nowhere. Green became like one of the strongest colors in the game, and I think well, first off, you strengthen red by dropping Emblem Ike. I feel like I'm rambling. You strengthen red by dropping Emblem Ike, and then you give us a couple of options in terms of like trying to counter him. A few of those were blue, but the main one was, or the main ones were Nurgle, Baby Robin, and female Robin, of course. And we got one more blue unit. I forget who it was. Emblem Celica. But I feel like green as a color has just gotten like so many strong nukes as of late that it's becoming better than red, which is crazy, because before this, red versus green was typically a win for most red units, and that's no longer the case since Nurgle. I want to say Nurgle has really changed that, and he works like really well on offense too. It's just that he's not typically used there, and I feel like that's probably a good. I don't know how well that would play into Goat Girl, because you're stealing not the right buffs. Yeah, that's not the best thing for you to steal. But anyways, here's my Micaiah. Let me stop rambling. I just wanted to show you guys the build that I have here, and I was just saying, I think I was saying this before, that the Legolas Friend 4 wasn't really the best thing for her, but GG's.